Somewhere over the Eastern Front, on July 8, a 50-year-old airframe just did something no one thought was possible. An old, retired, hand-me-down fighter jet flown by a Ukrainian pilot locked onto Russia's most advanced operational fighter and pulled the trigger. Not a drone. Not a missile battery. A dogfight. And when the smoke cleared, one of the most expensive aircraft in Russia's entire air force was falling out of the sky. This is the story of how it happened and why the Kremlin does not want you paying attention to it. But here's what nobody realized at first. For 3 years, Russia's Su-35 was treated as untouchable in the air. It's an air superiority monster. Thrust vectoring engines. A radar so powerful it can spot an enemy fighter from 250 miles away. On paper, it outclasses almost anything Ukraine has ever put in the sky. Ukraine's F-16s, by comparison, are the opposite story. Aging European hand-me-downs. Older radar. Shorter range missiles. On paper, this should never have been a fair fight. And then everything changed. According to Ukrainian and Western reporting, this wasn't a lucky shot. It was a trap. A Ukrainian MiG-29, an old Soviet-era jet, moved in first, simulating an attack on a ground target. Bait. The Su-35 took it and moved to intercept. That's when two F-16s, waiting behind it, closed in from a different angle. One of them fired. This is where the story gets dangerous. Russian military bloggers scrambled to explain what had just happened. Some claimed a Patriot missile battery was responsible, not the F-16. Others admitted the jet went down but insisted the pilot ejected safely. But days later, the U.S. chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, told the Senate something Moscow could not spin away. We recently witnessed the first air-to-air engagement in which a Ukrainian F-16 shot down a Russian fighter. Not a rumor. Not a telegram post. Confirmed, on the record, by the top military officer in the United States. Now let's talk about why this matters. This is the first confirmed air-to-air kill of an Su-35 by an F-16 anywhere in the world. Not in a simulation. Not in a training exercise. In real combat, over Ukraine. For years, Western analysts questioned whether F-16s in Ukrainian hands could even survive against Russia's top fighters, let alone beat them. This engagement is the answer nobody in Moscow wanted to hear. But this is where the danger deepens. This is not an isolated incident. Russia has now lost multiple Su-35s over the course of this war, some to Ukrainian Patriot systems, some reportedly to friendly fire, and now, for the first time, one in direct air combat. Each loss chips away at something Russia cannot easily replace: experienced pilots, and a fighter fleet that was supposed to guarantee control of the skies. What the media isn't spending enough time on. This win didn't come from newer technology. It came from tactics, from a Ukrainian pilot flying an outdated MiG-29 straight into danger as bait, trusting that his own side would close the trap in time. That is not a story about hardware. That is a story about a country that has learned, under fire, how to fight smarter than the size of its air force should allow. And here's the part that should worry Moscow most. Ukraine's F-16 fleet is still small. Still limited. Still flying older generation jets pulled from NATO storage. If a handful of these aircraft can hunt down Russia's premier fighter using nothing but timing and nerve, the question every Russian pilot has to ask before takeoff is simple. Is the sky still theirs? This is a turning point, not because one jet fell from the sky, but because of what it proves. The balance of power in the air war over Ukraine is no longer settled by which country has the newer machine. It's being decided by who outthinks the other first. And for the first time, that answer came from Kiev. If you want to understand where this war goes next, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think happens in the skies over Ukraine from here. Because this story is far from over.